Today, I want to share with you some changes that Microsoft are making to try to enhance collaboration and expand the ability of communications beyond chat. And I'm talking about combining Teams channels with the chat experience, right? Let's be honest, most people are really familiar with Microsoft Teams and its chat capabilities. It's simple, it makes sense, it's easy to understand. You just invite people, you get their email, they could be either Skype, they could be internal, external people. Doesn't matter if it's enabled for federation, then you're about to have a conversation with. And this gives you some really good feedback, and it sort of gets you out of the trap of emails and waiting for emails to flow through. You can have that real-time collaboration. You can quickly jump on for a meeting if it's a group chat, or jump on for that one-on-one audio or video call. And you can even share screenshots for external people or files if it's internal people. Just let people get stuff done. The problem is that chat is very much in the moment. It doesn't capture things that are for future use or for future people that are going to be involved in there. And it sort of breaks down when you've got very large groups of people having a conversation together because there's no threading, there's no conversational or conversation around topics or subjects. And this is where channels comes into its own, where you can actually share content in a channel. And it's posted based around a topic, and then everyone replies to that particular topic. And these conversations are now in context. It's great for building up knowledge base. It's also great for sharing announcements and changes in processes and practices, or key things that teams of current and future need to know about. Now, traditionally, what we would do if there's going to be a change in a process, we'd send around an email or schedule a group training session for a team's. But what happens with those is they get lost over time. Right? Unless you were specifically there at that particular time or worked for the organization at that time, well, you're not going to be on that email chain. You're not going to be on that list. You're not going to be part of that conversation. This is where teams can start to break that down. And I'm going to quickly go into it and show you what I mean by this and how Microsoft is tweaking this to try to bring chat and the Teams channels a little bit closer together. So we jump across over to our teams. Now this is my our X team. It's our team where we're sort of chatting and we just share stuff that's going on. Now in this case we can see that one of our team members noticed that there was a conversation going on in another channel and just wanted to reach out to the support text to see if there was anyone to be able to assist. Put the sidebar here so we can see who's in there and we can search for emails, messages, and files and stuff within that chat. And that's generally how you go and find things within chat. If you're going to go back and scroll, and I've got here one with my EA, and I just can scroll on forever, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And I can see here what's been shared within this chat. There's a bunch of links and all that sort of stuff as well. And I can see any files that have been shared. So that's kind of useful, right? That's about the only way we can actually see what's going on with chat. Otherwise, it sort of like gets buried and lost in the woods, if you like. So instead, what we've got is, so I've got a couple of group chats here going on. I like using images and stuff. So I've got the logos of the clients that we're having conversations with. But this is just the chats going backwards and forwards, etc. And you can see it just goes on and on. Those chats happening. Down here in Teams, there's not really a lot of activity. Now I've got a small organization, so you wouldn't really expect it. We'd just be chatting in general instead. However, what we're trying to do is change that. Change it so that we're now sharing and collaborating information in a different way rather than the typical chat channel posts tab, which is what you'll see in most organizations. It will be blank. No one's using it. We can start a post if we want. We can talk about, and you'll see the first thing it asks for is a subject. and then we can write our message, and we can do other things. We can add loops, we can add stream videos, praise, a whole bunch of different things, and lots of useful apps and stuff that just expands. We can also change the type from being a post or an announcement, right? So most people, it's going to be a post, but you might want to use this for announcing things to your team, right? This is what we use that for. However, no one goes and sees this. No one checks it. And unless you actually tag everyone, it's not even going to become part of their awareness. Because most people use this to just go to files, right? Kind of boring, but hey, that's how it works. Instead, what Microsoft has done is that there's a new setting coming, and you will find it in through here, or it's likely already been presented to you, where we can switch to a combined view. You can change a few other settings here, but I'm not going to go into those. And now you'll see that my Teams icon's gone, right? It's just vanished. That's because my Teams and my channels with my chats are now all combined. So I can actually quickly go identify anything that's been unread. I can see chats in particular, or I can see channels that are associated with that. You can also notice that I've got teams and channels here, but I've got this other group. We can actually break it into sections. So now, instead of having your chats sort of all over, your chats in one spot and your teams in another, and you can't sort of group them all together, because you might be access to lots and lots of teams that you're not really interested in. You'll see here we've got all our clients listed here as a different channel. And what we can do now is we can actually say, well, I'm actually only interested in these channels. So I can move this one up here. I can move that into client as well. And we're currently working with these guys, so I can move these ones up there as well. But now what's going to happen if I get rid of that is that I can actually see my, in clients, these are the clients that I'm interested in. I've got my chats, which are the circle ones, and the square ones, which are the channels associated with that. Cool thing with the channels is I've also got access to files, notes, CRM, and any other tab that I might have included in there, which is the standard Teams functionality. It's now starting to blur those two together. So instead of having to think, this is a chat, I go into chat, and Teams, I go into Teams, it's all in one place. So if there's a new post and I tag unread, it's going to show me both channels and chats that have new messages for my attention. But we can go a little further in that we can actually identify all the meetings that are in here. Now, we actually use Meet as well, which is another app that you can add. We actually add this in for our clients because we can sort of see upcoming meetings, and I just like the layout here, so it's easy to go to recaps and such. But you've also got that access in here as well. So if we get rid of the meetings, we can also go and look at any channels I might have muted. You know, those chats that get a little bit too noisy and you think, I can't focus because they're all talking about rubbish. Well, you can start muting those so you don't get those conversations. But you also see this other one here in terms of mentions. Anything where it's mentioned me, and I've been mentioned, we can quickly identify where those are. That goes across both chat and it goes across your channels as well. Now we can mark all these as read. We can instead of those mentions, we can just go and say we can collapse all the sections, so we can just see the sections. You'll see that there's a chat there that needs my attention because this is bolded, right? So you can easily identify what's going on. We can search and filter based on these things if we want. We can also customize these views. But more importantly now, this is where we can go and join teams, create teams, or create one of those new sections. We don't just have favorites or pinned anymore. We've also got additional ones that you can create based on your workflow. Right? So remember that chat and posts inside of a channel are very similar. The main difference is that a chat is just a stream of consciousness, whereas a channel This allows us to post information about what's actually happening. And I've got a good example down here in our all company where I share emails and other things to the channel so that the team themselves can then start replying to that. And the reason I do this is that this information is now available to all of these people and any new person that happens to join the organization. So go and explore. Jump into settings if you haven't been offered the thing, and consider switching from the separate view and combine it and really start leveraging those posts to be able to share information in a different way and really just communicate that information out there rather than that stream of consciousness that will be lost within about a day or so, and it just disappears and we forget it. Post is more accessible for a lot. Anyway, I hope you found that useful and a little bit of insight in terms of what's going on in the Teams ecosystem and how Microsoft's trying to change the way we communicate for the better without having to get drowning in endless walls of streams of consciousness, chat that is just overwhelming us. Start using Teams for the way it was originally designed, be able to share content that's contextual to the subject of the various teams that you're working. Anyway, give me a shout out in the comments, and if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer them and help you out. So go and enjoy Teams, and have a great day.